Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, and we have the remainder of this week and next week where we're going to be working with MATLAB. And so I'm going to talk about wrapping up all of the assignments and how to make sure that you get the information you need to get everything done that we're going to do with MATLAB. And then beginning on Monday, excuse me, this is this week. Okay, this is next week. I was gonna say, boy, that happened fast. So this week is, what am I doing here? Oh, I gotta have the 18th, that's why. All right, so there we go. So this week, right here on Friday, we're gonna end our work with MATLAB. And on Monday, the 30th, we are going to begin our work with Excel. All right, so the first thing is, if you have not ordered it or received it yet, this is the book that we're using for MATLAB. And it's an excellent book because it approaches, excuse me, Excel, not MATLAB. It approaches Excel from a problem-solving point of view. So it's excellent. It's excellent for engineers. I suspect that you'll want to keep that book, and I won't even say till some of the commands and things in Excel will change and the functionality will be a little bit different. But overall, the things that you can do with MATLAB and the types of problems you can construct are going to remain the same. So I think it may be a book that you're going to want to keep forever. So for whatever reason, this decided to gray out on me. There we go. This is better. Oh, because we're in the wrong course. Here we go. That's it. Okay, so basically, if we go down to what we have going on this week, I added one new tab, and what I've asked for you is to, by Friday of this week, excuse me, by Monday of next week, to submit to me a draft of your MATLAB code. The reason for that is just because I don't suspect it would be very unusual for somebody to be able to write their code without having to do some significant revision to the code and debugging. So if you submit it to me by Monday, we'll be able to I'll be able to spend some time helping you getting it to run. And if you get it to run, then you will be off the hook. So that would be super duper. So after you submit that code, by the following Friday, the 27th, that's when you will submit the working version of your MATLAB code. So that gives you 4 days to work with me in order to get everything squared away and everything submitted. So we have the draft of the MATLAB code and the final MATLAB code that will be due. And then, let's see, the Hello World code is going to be due by Friday, September 20th, which doesn't really make any sense. Oh, it's this Friday. Okay, so we're good. So that's just a day. It's not a classroom day, but that's where the Hello World code comes in. So by Friday of this week, submit that Hello World code, which is really quite simple. And I did put examples of it up on the board. So if you go back and you look at the at our lectures, you'll actually be able to see some of the ways that you can pick through that to make it work. Now, yours does not have to look exactly like mine. If you have a different expression that you wanted to say, that is fine as well. But just so that you have an example of how to get some code running in MATLAB. All right, and then, so we only have those 2 assignments. The on-ramp should be completed as of Monday. And I know some of you have turned it in, so we're set. But everything else seems to be up to speed. So what'll happen then is, like I said, next week on Monday, we'll just spend time we may not even have a lecture on Monday unless I'll be here, but it will be optional. I'll put that up on our page. So I'll be here Monday morning at 9, but if you don't wish to come, we don't have any new material to present at this point. You've got all the material that you need to do the work that you need to do. So Monday next at 9, I'll be here, but it's optional for you to come. And then, let me write that down, optional, face-to-face. And then, of course, on the lab, I would strongly suggest if you don't have your code done, that you attend so that I can work with you on your code. All right. And so then by here, we're going to have the end of our MATLAB work, and then we'll begin Excel. So in other words, if you're ahead of the schedule, we already have all of this material presented. So there's really no new material until Friday next. Okay. So this is just time for you to spend working on this. Now, coding, if you've done coding before, you probably already know it can be quite time consuming, and you can get like 90% done, and then the next 10% will take you as long as the first 90%, or sometimes it just goes quick as a whistle. So, so I'm just giving you some time to work those details out. But I want to finish MATLAB on this Friday and then begin. So we're going to have a little pause, not a pause, but we're just going to make a clean break at that point. And it's not really a break that has anything to do with, it's not really a pause that has anything to do with the day on our schedule or on the calendar for the academic year. It's just the amount of time that we're spending on Excel, like MATLAB versus Excel. All right. So then what we're going to be doing, let's take a look for the rest of this for just a second. We take a look at the academic calendar for this year, and we look at the fall. All right. So what you'll see is that the last day of the half-term classes is October 10th. We do have a 4-day weekend, October 11th through 14th. So in other words, we'll begin Excel here, and then here we will have 10-9, and then we have fall break. And I'll put this up on my screen in just a second. But so fall break, so that means that Monday, the 14th, there is no class. And so that's kind of the schedule that we are working with. Okay, so we'll begin Excel here, and then we'll have fall break here. So it's not really, like I said, beginning Excel does not really correspond to a break, but I don't want to spend half the class on MATLAB. I wanted to shorten that so we'd have more time with Excel. The other piece is we will not have a midterm exam in this class. Okay, so your grade here is just based on these assignments. And I don't have the gradebook percentages set up, but like the pseudocode, the temperature conversion problems, the 2 pieces of MATLAB code, and the onboarding are what your grade will be based upon. Okay, so if at midterm, when the midterm grades come out, which you may already be familiar with, but those are not permanent grades, they're just grades that tell you where you are at that time. And so if you completed all of those elements and whatever MATLAB, or excuse me, whatever Excel we've done up to that point, your grade will just be based on that. I'm uncertain whether we will have a final exam or not, but I will make that decision relatively quickly so that we don't have to spend too much time wondering about that. But let's take a look at something where I can this. Too many tabs. That's okay. Go back here. I don't even know where my ruler went. Put the photo up again. Right. So let's take a look here. Share that screen. All right. So if we take a look at this, it does say that the midterm exam is going to be worth 25%. So if somebody gets into a bind and they wish to have a midterm exam, I would definitely negotiate that with you. However, I would prefer to just write this on, I would prefer to write it as just equal parts homework and lab assignments. Then I would not increase the percentage for the final exam. So what I'm gonna do is just go up and just make the midterm exam optional 25%, but the final exam will not be worth 33%. It will still be worth 25%. So we'll just have more assignments in terms of MATLAB. But in any case, when I make a change like that, an administrative change, I will give you the option of following the original if you wish. If you're not doing well and you need to have a midterm exam to shore up your grade, I'll make sure that you have that opportunity. So it'll work in your advantage. But if you're good and you don't want a midterm, then we won't have one. All right, so now we've got everything lined out. All of the material is available. Do you have any questions about MATLAB or what's due or how to get any questions at all?
So next week will be helping us work on that.
Yes, that's correct. And I am available for the rest of this week too. I'm not going anywhere else for the foreseeable future, so I should be available all the time. But if you need help this week, just let me know. You can set an appointment through Calendly or you can stop by my office, but I will be here on Monday morning for this optional face-to-face. This might be optional as well, but I'll be here for both. Okay, so you can be or not be depending on if you need help. But I would say definitely attend the lab, and through these times together, we'll work on that code and get you squared away. But also because I've asked for the temporary code or your draft of the code, I'll be available to help you with that as well. But the easiest way for me to help you with that is for you to submit it to me, and then we can debug it. I mean, really, that's the easiest way to do it. Sound like a deal? Yep. All right, very good. All right, well then that's it for today. I will quit recording and I'll post this lecture up so we know where we're going. And I think you'll find yourself learning a lot about MATLAB in the next couple of weeks as you go through this material. I believe I went through everything. I believe you have everything that you need in terms of content. But if you're missing something or something didn't make sense, or if you just need to go over something to understand how it works, just let me know, because that's what I'm here for. So no harm, no foul if you need some content. So I think it's all here, but we'll find out as we're working through it as usual. So let's do that. And when you have trouble, just let me know and we'll go from there. All right.